Hi, this is Hot Girls Build Cults, the show where we explore the art of gathering, the business of belonging, and the people creating communities worth showing up for. I'm your host, Megan Lycan, storyteller, community builder, and lifelong people connector. Each week, we talk to the people creating movements, spaces, and communities that make you say, I want in. And guess what? You're invited. Let's get into it. Well, welcome to Hot Girls Build Cults. Today I'm sitting down with Rae Lambert, CEO and co-founder of DNNR, a platform powering in-person connection through curated dinners for brands, creators, and communities. Welcome, Rae.
Hey, great to be on your show, Megan. I love what you're doing.
I'm so excited to reconnect with you. Just for our audience, a little bit of background. So I know Rae because she's my former boss. I worked with her at Olivine. It was a product marketing agency. And actually, funny enough, while I was still at Olivine, you had launched River, you had started All In meetups. Like this whole thing that we're going to talk about today, like was simmering while I was still working with you. So I guess like a great place to start is we're primarily going to be talking about DNNR, but there is an evolution of community building in your story.
Oh, I have multiple cults. I'm leading multiple cults. You might not even know about all the cults. There's a lot of cults.
Yeah. So like, that's like, where do we start?
Yeah.
I guess just like a little bit of the evolution of like where you got to DNNR. This is pure storytelling. So like, I'll just sit back.
I mean, completely by accident. Olivine was like cooking pretty well. It like made pretty good money. No meetings on Fridays. Like wasn't that high stress. Once in a while, like twice a year, something terrible happened, like an SVP bank run. But for the most part, it was like, on chill, on ice, and just like doing well.
It was a cushy place to be.
Yeah, it was cushy and like beautiful people and cool work. Like it was a good stuff. Very fond of those times. Like even though I'm like on to other things now, I'm like, oh, my heart. But yeah, COVID happened. I was traveling around a lot. I started listening to the All In podcast, which has become extremely political at this point. At the beginning, it was just like tech bros and venture capitalists. So, very
Right.
different now. But, and I went to the first summit in Miami and I noticed that a bunch of women were insecure about going. And I'm not insecure about being in like male dominated spaces. I went to school for finance. I worked in finance or startups. Like I don't even notice if I'm the only woman in the room. I literally don't notice or care. But I know that other women are insecure or care about this. So I noticed this on Twitter. I was like, you know what? And the other thing is all the women were like flexing. Like, am I going to wear this designer handbag or this designer handbag? I was like, girl, I'm living in a backpack, traveling with a folding bike and a laptop. Like, I don't have any clothes to wear to this thing.
Yeah.
Like,
This was either like when you were in Portugal or living in Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't even own those things anyway, but I definitely didn't have them with me because I was like living out of a backpack. So I was like, I need a flex. Like, what's my flex going to be? I was like, I know I'm going to buy brunch for like 8 women. That'll be my flex. So I made a brunch reservation, filled it up instantly, increased it to 12. And one of my longtime mentors, Mark DeVisser, whom I love, I just like mentioned it in passing and he said, you should invite Jason Calacanis to your brunch. And I was like, he's not going to come. He's so busy. He's running the whole summit. He's like,
Right.
I think he'll come. And he knew something about Jason that I had not realized yet, is that Jason is a total ham. And will absolutely show up to brunch and take a selfie with 12 smart, beautiful women. So he did. And then he bought brunch. So I didn't even have to buy the brunch. It was just like a free flex. And then a bunch of photos were taken. And then people like see me at the summit and be like, oh, you're brunch girl. And I was like, that is not the seriousness level that I was hoping people would know me for. But yes, I am in fact the brunch girl. Guilty. Then I moved to Miami and I could not meet anyone interesting. It was all crypto boys who just, the insufferable Web3 people who like don't know what Web3 is. They can't explain it. They think you're a chud for not like being in Web3, but like they don't know how to read a P&L. Like it's just like a frustrating, and then add on top of it Miami and you're like, kill me.
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to host an episode 100 listening party and I'm going to meet 5 people that I don't hate so that I can have some friends in this fucking city. And then my little sign up form went viral and we hosted meetups in 24 cities. And I was like,
I
oh,
distinctly remember
shit.
that.
Yeah, because I was probably like, guys, help me.
You're like, it's blowing up. Like, we have to host this, like all at the same time. There's all these meetups. Like, everyone's got questions, like what to do. Like, how do we live stream all this?
No, it was insane. And poor Anna, who was with us at all events, she followed me to dinner.
And then the all-in besties were gonna like tune in to certain like
they dialed in.
They dialed in.
Like trying to host like a zillion Zoom calls. It was nuts. And you know, meanwhile, my husband's like, "Why are you doing this again?" I'm like, "To meet people." Ended up meeting a great group in Miami. I heard people made new friends. I was like, great, thrilled. I started a Slack for all the hosts because I couldn't like email them one-on-one. That ended up growing. 6 months later, people started pinging me and being like, hey, episode 125 is coming around. We're going to do it again, right, Rae? And I was like, fuck
right,
no.
Rae? Are you going to plan this for us?
Are you gonna pull 3 all-nighters for a bunch of meetups that you're not going to, that you don't know why these? I'm like, oh God. Enough people asked. I was like, okay, there's got to be an app for this. You know, I was familiar with all the event tools, Luma, Beautiful, Eventbrite, Meetup. I was like, okay, we'll use Luma, and I learned some lessons from the first time, like set up some workflow automations with Airtable, and like, it'll be good. It was just as much work. We did it in 50 cities. No effort was spared at all from Luma. And the reason is because all the other event platforms assume that the person creating the event is the host. And that is not true in this case. I was kind of spinning up these events and then trying to find hosts for them. Jason was like constantly retweeting me. So it was like kept blowing up, but he didn't want the host to get the emails. He wanted people to host for the right reasons, not because they're just trying to like poach the all-in list. Cause it's a very coveted like list of people, usually more wealthy, high agency people.
That makes sense.
So that was pretty difficult to do. And I was like, sorry, they're just going to get the emails. Like there's no way I can work around this. So we hosted the 50 meetups, and then Jason messages me. He's like, how the fuck did you pull that off? Like, what tool are you using? Because I hire event people and their whole job all year is to do events, and they can't pull off 50 events in a year, let alone 3 weeks, you lunatic. I was like, well, there's no app. I wish there was, but it's just elbow grease. It's just like some crappy Airtable Happier automations. He's like, come work for me. And I was like, oh, love you, but did I tell you Olivine makes good money and we don't take meetings on Fridays and we like each other? And he's like, okay, fair enough. And then 3 weeks later, he DM'd me on Twitter and was like, what if I invest $100,000 and you build a software company and you come to my accelerator? And I was like, now we're talking.
That's what I needed to hear.
Yeah. You know, because he probably just thought I was like some dumb marketing meetup girl. Like he didn't know that I was like more than brunch girl.
Yeah.
Fair.
He's like, hey, that brunch girl can now be my admin girl.
Yeah, now she can be my meetup girl. Yeah, so then I started working for investors and took no salary and worked more than I would have. Yeah, so went to his accelerator, ended up raising a pre-seed round, $1.6 million. Well, after Jason, I got an angel check from Balaji Srinivasan, which was like a big deal. Kind of put me back in the Web3 space again, because he's usually invested in Web3. So I had to like eat all my shoes there. Raised a $1.6 million pre-seed round, and then just could not get the revenue to grow. Got tons of big names on the platform: Tim Ferriss, Brian Johnson. The product worked. We helped Bolt launch like their world's largest hackathon. You know, big names were having like hundreds or thousands of events each year on River, but just like couldn't crack revenue.
Yeah. I mean, the concept was so cool, and there was like a need, but you know, like as you wrote a really interesting Substack recently. If we could talk about like,
please,
you know, if we could talk about like what happened or like what you were seeing that you finally had to pivot, like let go of the idea of River.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a tar pit. If you're familiar with the tar pit concept, it's like an optical illusion. It looks like an oasis in the desert. Like there's like common tar pits that are like in a lot of times in the social space that, you know, lots of founders have tried to make a go of it in a certain space, and it just never really works out. Mm-hmm. So I think River is a tar pit. To this day, some people are like, oh, but it's such a good idea. Did you try this? You try this? I'm like, dude, I worked for free for 2 fucking years. I fucking tried it. Like, get out of here. Yes, I tried it. Well, they're like, you know, they're just like, hey, I've been thinking about this for 45 seconds. and I will magically come up with ideas that you and your whole team didn't think of after 2 years of like chipping away at it.
Y yeah.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for your 5-second idea. Yeah, I just think the mechanism was wrong for the business model. Um, but people obviously wanted to get together, so we were just like, okay, let's be super honest about everything that's not working, and like let's really be extremely explicit on why it's not working, and then let's figure out some other mechanism that we could get people together without it not working.
Yeah.
And that's dinner. So I'm about to we haven't like put a full bullet in the app of River, but yeah, it's like doesn't have paying customers. There's people using it, but I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Um,
Might as well,
probably
like
turn it off. Yeah, I'll probably turn it off eventually because there's just like a lot of scammers trying to use it. We block them, but it's like more headache than it's worth.
Yeah. So would you say, like, it was harder to admit that, like, River wasn't working or, like, to pivot in general?
Yeah, so we started pivot like we basically were like running the dinner experiment in parallel. So I would say like I knew River wasn't working, but it's hard to know why. It's like, is it the mechanism that's wrong? Like, and there's a sunk cost fallacy. You've written so much code, you've done so much work that it's so easy to just be like, oh, if we just had this feature, or we just had this feature, we just got this customer, and but then I guess like and I was like kind of the last one. Like my husband Ryan, who's my co-founder, he was really the one beating the drum. We got to try something new.
Mhm.
And again, like River had so many false positives. Like so many people love the idea. Tim Ferriss used our app, Brian Johnson, like, but there's just so many like early false flags that I'm really sensitive to those now. When like something good happens, I'm like, okay, but why? And is it repeatable? Because now I've just
Mm,
seen you can like you can just like take your troops, like your whole team down this road, and there just isn't enough validation there.
yeah. So it sounds like you've kind of built that into your process now, or that, like, is this thing repeatable? It's like everything that is going well. Like,
Yeah.
can we replicate this? And that is like a better indicator if like you should continue moving forward on like
Yeah.
features, just everything that goes into it.
Also, like Luma is a beautiful app. I mean, kudos to them. We were always just like chasing the dragon. And but if you're solving a real problem, people will be pretty forgiving of like crappy UX or crappy product, which is the case with dinner. I mean, it's not crappy, but I'm just saying like at the beginning people were it was very light. Um and so but when I look at Luma and I look at Partiful, I'm not sure they're great businesses to be in. Like
Mm,
Luma, I think have really small, they don't have consumer usage numbers. Maybe they have 3 to 10 million users or something. But then most people don't pay for it. And those that do, it's like 49 a month. Maybe some people go up. So it kind of has like enterprise volume with like
yeah,
consumer pricing, which is like a
gotcha.
really tough place to be. So I'm just like, okay, we'll never catch up with them on like this slick product UX side. Like that is just, they're just very good at that and we are not. And then even if we did get to parity, like is that even a good business to be in? And like Partiful, I'm not really sure how they're making money. They say they don't sell user data. I'm a little suspicious of that. Text messages are very expensive to deliver. I know because that's part of our feature set.
Yeah,
They say they're gonna like do transactions on like DoorDash and stuff, and I'm just like, I'm not sure that's like a great business. Like maybe they'll do great, but I'm just saying it's not like a great business. And like Meetup has gone through so many different like buyers and sellers and like just slowly like ran itself into the ground. And like I've met with Scott Heiferman, the founder of Meetup, several times, and he's disappointed with the outcome. And so yeah, tarp it. Um,
yeah. So it's like even other competitors are just like, it just from a revenue standpoint, it might not even make sense to if you had
yeah,
continued on that path. Like, and I think you had
yeah.
written something in your Substack about how it was difficult to get um host to volunteer, or that was one of the
Sometimes.
pain
Yeah.
points.
Well, I mean, it wasn't that hard because we get like hundreds of events, but it was like the quality of the hosts would vary greatly. Some people like they're just so good, they're naturally good, and other people are like kind of weenies and like need a lot of hand holding. And so yeah, hosts were sometimes frustrating to deal with. Um And then, this other company, Pi, they're doing like some crazy tactics. So they have a creator fund where they would pay you out based on how many RSVPs you got. So it's like you create your event on Pi and then they would pay you out based on RSVPs. Well, let me tell you, I've never been invited to a Pi event. So that just kind of like,
I've never heard of it. So
yeah, exactly. So it tells you they're not doing that great. But I was hosting an official all-in event with Jason Calacanis in Austin for South by Southwest. Someone who I won't name, but had like done some shady stuff before, spun up like a duplicate copycat event at the same time, ran a paid ad on it. And I only know this because I got served the paid ad for my own event. It was at a different location. Got a bunch of RSVPs, confused a bunch of people, like which event to go to. And like, it doesn't matter that the event wasn't real or that it was like, or if it was kind of like a shoddy event because she's just getting paid out via RSVPs.
What a shit show.
Right. But like, if you just raise a bunch of venture funding, you can just pay hosts to like use your app.
Yeah.
It's just like a very short term. Like now that I'm building dinner and the signal is so there, I'm like, oh, this is what really good feels like. Like people use it even if it's dog shit.
Yeah.
Like, no, we don't have that feature. No, we don't do that. No, we don't do that. Okay, I'll still use it. And then you're like, wow, like it is just completely different feeling. It's a completely different feeling. Or like when I was building River, I would be like, why won't people talk about River? It's such an interesting use case. And like, it's really bringing people together. No one wanted to talk about it. And now there's not enough time in the day for me to like retweet or repost all the times people are like launching dinner clubs and like I can't even keep up. Like people talk about it more than I would want them to talk about.
Yeah.
So it's just a completely different like feeling. It's just like a pull versus a grind.
Why don't we talk a little bit about like how you guys landed on dinner as a concept? Like I noticed, I don't know if this is intentional or if it's just like common in restaurants, but you guys like seat people in parties of 6. Is there something like research based like behind 6 people being significant, anything like that?
Well, I mean, we just saw these other social dining apps that were working. So TimeLapse, 222, there's a bunch. They send people out to dinners in groups of 6. You fill out a personality quiz, get matched, and then there's like an after party bar. The difference is, from what we've seen, is everyone is building their own app for their own audience. So they keep the full margin on the ticket of the event. We don't send anyone to dinner directly. We just give it as an engine, a dinner club engine, to any creator who wants to brand it and send their own audience out to dinner. And then we take a cut of that. And so we knew the model of social dining was working, tables of 6, matched up, because there's a lot of other apps doing it. We're just the first ones to white label it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because like just I when I talk to so many different community builders and just even outside of that, like there's just this like emergence of, dinner clubs and dinner parties and wanting to host like, brunches and things like that to bring people together. And it's huge. And it's like the perfect way to get started. Like no matter what type of community that you're building, like dinner is always a great place to start because like the ambiance is built in, like it's intimate, like it's pretty frictionless. So it's really cool that you guys have pivoted into this space and are creating like giving people a platform to design their own dinner clubs.
Yeah. And and we validate a lot of things ourselves, and we've actually changed a lot from like the initial model just on trial and error. But I like 6 because, well, 4 is small enough that like if one person doesn't show up, now you're into 3 and it's just like a very small table. There isn't quite necessarily enough randomness or magic that might happen. And then once you get up to 8 people, I notice that the conversation breaks into 2 tables of 4, basically, because you end up having 2 conversations. Now, when you have 6 people, I would say 80% of the night of the table is all having one big conversation. Sometimes there'll be a couple sidebars, but ultimately it's one conversation. And then tables of 6 are just like, it's a 4 top and a 2 top. It's pretty easy for a restaurant to put together. I worked in restaurants for a long time. Yeah. And then if one person doesn't show up and you're down to 5, it still feels like pretty dynamic. So yeah, I mean, we kind of like saw other social dining apps doing this, but it's certainly validated.
Yeah. No, I definitely thought that like I saw it, and for some reason I was like, I feel like there might be some psychology behind like a table of 6 versus.
There's probably more research that I didn't bother reading. You can like I host a lot, so I kind of know like what the vibes are. But yeah, it's tables of six.
I guess like, so for anyone listening who's never heard of dinner, like what actually happens from the moment a creator launches a dinner club to strangers sitting at a table? Like, how does it work?
Yeah. Well, now we have self-service, so some people just brand their own dinner club. So it's kind of like a set landing page that you just kind of change a little bit of copy, drop in some of your own images, your own logo, and then you set up a dinner club campaign. So you set the time, like the date, the time, and the general location. So not we source the restaurants for you and we make restaurant reservations, but you could say, hey, I want to be in like this neighborhood of Austin, or I want to be in Hell's Kitchen, New York. I want to be in Seaport, Boston. So you kind of just set like the district or the area where you want to meet up. You customize your own personality quiz. So we have a few required questions like budget, diet, allergy, age, and then we have like a suggested questionnaire, but a lot of people change it. And then each creator defines how they want their tables to be matched up. So some communities want to put the child-free people and the parents, like the child-free people together and the parents together. Some are business communities and they want to put like, if you're in the consumer space versus like B2B, or if you're in hardware. Or some people will say, hey, we're going to put all the early stage kooks together, like including the VCs, the operators, and the founders. And then later stage, like SMB or enterprise size companies will seat together. Yeah, some people put like the sober people together and the heavy drinkers together. Like there's just so many different ways you can match people up.
Yeah, I guess it
So
really
you,
depends on like the community that you have.
yeah,
Like we're really kind of niching down based off of that.
yeah. You could organize people by hobbies. Are you more of like an artsy museum type, or are you more like you like to play pickup soccer? You know, whatever, however you want to organize people. So I think most people spend more time on their quiz than like anything else because that's the
Yeah.
matching algorithm. And then you announce your land. You know, connect your Stripe and you set your price. Most people charge $15.99. Some people charge up to $30
And
for
that's on
their
like a
dinner
top,
club.
so okay, that's just to go to the dinner and then you just pay whatever you are going to pay at the restaurant.
Yeah, you just split the tab, ask for separate checks, just like you would out with friends. I'm sure there's like some human awkwardness there, but you know, you just tell the waitress, "We're in this dinner club. We don't know each other. Can we have separate checks?" And
Don't
they
make
do
us
it.
figure it out ourselves.
Yeah. And then we have our matching algorithm is really like a huge part of the product, mostly the whole product. We match you up with the group and the restaurant all at once. So it's not like find a group of six and then go find a restaurant for you. It's like looking at your diet, your allergies, your budget all at one time to match your group. And then we have a team that makes restaurant reservations either online or by phone. Um, and you don't find out where you're going to dinner until the morning of.
Okay.
It's a surprise. And then you don't find out, you know about the secret after party, but you don't know where it's going to be until you get a text message during dinner.
Oh, that's super cool. Have you
So
had any hosts that have been like particularly like fussy about like the restaurants that get selected? Is that ever a pain point for
yeah, I
organizers?
mean, we integrate with Google Maps and you can just star the restaurants that you like,
Okay.
and block restaurants that you don't like. Um, no, I think it's great when the creator has like a strong point of view and they know the area. It makes the dinner club a lot more successful. People definitely, you know, if they get sent to a bad restaurant or they don't have a good age group at their table, then yeah, they have a bad experience. So, but we made it really easy for the creator to just say, you know, star, star, star. No.
Okay. So the creator can like have some input or specifications on like the type
Yeah.
of restaurant and like maybe the tier of restaurant that they're looking for like for their audience.
But
Um
again, it's like you let the matching algorithm tell you instead of you having like a bunch of assumptions. Like a lot of people expect that people go to like a more high end dinner and then they don't. So then
mm,
it's more like on demand. Um, but we can kind of tell like based on, you know, the first 15 sales of your dinner club, like what the makeup is going to look like a little bit. You know, kind of like a movie, you know, it releases the first weekend. It kind of can know how much money it's going to make based on like the first opening weekend. So we can get a jump on it.
gotcha. That's so cool. It's a lot different than I initially assumed like how it was going to work, I guess. Um, I saw you posted recently on LinkedIn about like some revenue numbers about what the creators are making off of these dinner clubs. And I was blown away because I guess I was thinking too small because I was like, oh, I just like to get like 30 people together. That would be awesome. And then you're like, I looked at it and there was like most of them had well, I think one of them had like hundreds of tables. I
Yeah.
think it was, and
Not
because it was
table
like,
seats, but yeah, hundreds of seats. Yeah. I mean, some people do 2 a month and they send 125 people twice a month and it sells out. They could make it bigger or host more frequently. They just like don't.
so I imagine that most of these creators already have large followings.
Yes.
Is there anything in dinner that like helps with like the promotion or like growing your audience in any way?
I mean, so we don't directly help you do much there. Yeah, it's really about like monetizing your existing audience. If you show up like 500 followers, we're just going to turn you down. It's just like too small for us. But a lot of creators are finding that a lot of our dinner club owners are newsletter owners, and they have like a hyper
Mhm.
local newsletter like Waco, Texas, or what's going on in Wichita, Kansas. And they'll find that people are more likely to share the dinner club than they are to share a particular newsletter post. And so
Ah,
the dinner club, I assumed as a longtime marketer that it was a bottom of funnel activity where you're just monetizing like your super fans, but they're actually like monetizing and growing like net new followers because of it. And we do have like a bunch of announcement templates, like Canva video templates and a bunch of B-roll and like scripts on how to announce it. But like you have to be the one to have the audience. It's not everyone has their own walled garden dinner club. There's no way to discover other dinner clubs. You can only find
right.
out about it from the creator. So it's not like Eventbrite where you like put a paid event on or on Luma and maybe someone would be browsing that category and find your event. That doesn't happen. It's like your own walled garden.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking about this as like a community builder myself, and like I've had a couple other people on, and they've said like the best way to start building a community is start with the dinner, and that's like the assumption that you have like like you're inviting people at that point, and then it grows. But I was thinking about using River on this use case. There's a conference coming to Tucson here later in March, and I was just gonna you build off of the promotion for the conference and be like, hey, like
You
there's
can.
all these
Yeah.
events happening around 10 West. Like I'm gonna host a founders dinner. So it might not be massive, but like to get some people who are like following the conference post to
Yeah.
get them in that way.
Well, so what I would either host a personal, 12, 20 person dinner and you make, like how I did for brunch at the All In Summit, and then you're there. Or, um, and that can be just for founders. Or you can do a 10 West dinner club and just don't limit it at the top for founders. Just put in the questionnaire, put the founders together.
Yeah.
But don't say this is just for founders. Just say this is the 10 West 10X dinner club. And then put the founders together. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to have like a business owner dinner club. It's like, well, it's not big enough. You might not
Mm,
have enough of those people to fill out like 30 seats. Cause I think it starts getting pretty magical after 30 seats. Cause then we have 5 buckets where we can put people in,
yeah.
which is kind of like one per decade, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. um, but if you just design it a little more broadly, but then design the questionnaire to like say, okay, we're going to put all the creative types at this table. We're going to put all the founders at this table. We're going to put all the real estate people at this table. And then it's like the table matching feels very smart, but then you made more money. And then the after party was more popping.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep discounting the whole fact that there's like a after party planned as part of this whole process as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can just show up at the bar and then like be like hot shit at the bar.
Yeah. Like I did this.
Look at me. You're welcome. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, I think this comes from your website. Creators are earning an average of 728 per month from dinner clubs. Like, do you see this as more of a side income or the beginning of like a new creator revenue model? Like this is their sole focus.
I mean, I don't think it'll ever be anyone's sole focus, but it is pretty meaningful. Like for a lot of our creators, they weren't earning any money before, where they were like really sporadic sponsors or really sporadic ads. But like, we've got a couple of Instagram influencers in the city and, they're getting hired for consulting, like social media consulting or sometimes and sponsored post. But yeah, I think this is like a meaningful revenue line. So our average community does 65 seats a month. But some of our communities do 250 seats a month because they host 225 dinners a month.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they get sponsors off the platform. Like Seco Stories, our very first customer here in Portsmouth. Troy, he got he basically like earned $1,500 on his dinner club. And then on top of that, he got $1,000 sponsor. And the sponsor was included in all the marketing materials and all the like highlight reels and stuff. So, for a creator who's just like a small hyperlocal influencer to like be bringing home 2,400, 2,500 bucks a month plus
Yeah.
pays your rent even in an expensive town like Portsmouth. So yeah, I think it's pretty meaningful. Some people are like, I'm going to build an audience just so I can launch a dinner club. I'm like, well, that might take a while, but go for it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely just like an extra layer of like, if you already have a following, or specifically, I guess it would make more sense if you have like a local following. Or I guess, is anyone doing like a distributed dinner club? Like, hey, my audiences are not all in the same city, but like, I want it to be like based off this topic that we all have this shared experience. Like, would that work?
I think it will eventually. We just haven't. Yeah, we tried it with Jason's like Founder Fridays group. It just kind of hobbled along. I think you'd have to like promote it really hard that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most successful people have a smaller but hyper local following, which is interesting because like when Troy first launched here, he had 4,500 Instagram followers, which doesn't sound like much at all, but they're
Yeah.
all literally right here. Like, I don't think Mr. Beast has 4,500 YouTube subscribers in Portsmouth. Like, the whole town is only 22,000 people.
Yeah.
But Troy sent 41 people to dinner, his first dinner club, and now it's, well over 100 each time. So, I think there's a shift happening, like these creators or influencers, you try to have this like global reach. It's pretty hard to cut through the noise. Even 1 million subscribers is not that much.
Yeah.
And then 1 million followers on social isn't really that much. Or you could have like 5 or 10,000 local followers, and now you can really monetize. So it's different.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's super interesting. And like, I guess like, yeah, the future, if it was more distributed, it'd be kind of like River meets dinner, because you're like organized like remote meetups, but now it's just over dinner.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it will be done eventually. Or I also like the idea of following someone on tour. So it's like, if a comedian or an artist is like going around, it's like, okay, well, pay extra, go to meet other like Emily King listeners before the show, go to the concert, and then there'd be an after party after the concert that Emily King could go to. And you only, you pay an extra $30 or something to get to go to this dinner experience. And then you meet Emily King after.
Yeah.
It could be an extra way for a creator to earn money while they're like on tour.
Yeah. That would make a lot of sense. It's like, yeah, you're going to a concert or a show, and like you get to connect over your love for, that
Yeah.
person. That's a
Um,
really cool idea.
I'm trying to get some theaters to do it because, like an average newsletter group, they can host like 2, maybe a weekly dinner club. But that would be like a lot, I think. But a theater has like 300 shows a year, and it's always different people. So I've been trying to get some theaters to send people out to dinner before the show, especially if you only bought 1 ticket or 2 tickets.
Yeah.
You might be pretty open to meeting new people. So
I'm gonna have to pass that idea along. I've got three friends in Omaha, Nebraska, that they all are the head of marketing at different theaters.
Oh my God,
So
please, I'll get you an affiliate revenue. I've been trying so hard to find these theater people. They're like
no
tough to
joke,
talk
but I've got
to.
3 friends are like literally director of marketing level at different theater companies in Omaha. So
okay, well, affiliate commission coming your way. And we also just launched our first political campaign.
Okay.
It's a fundraiser for someone who's running for a congressional seat in New Hampshire.
Oh, okay. So like they have their own dinner club.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, come out, meet other supporters, knowing that you're, instead of donating $25 online and just like not getting any experience out of it, you donate $25 to the dinner club, and then you get to meet other like-minded people who are interested in the same candidates as you.
Yeah.
And then at the after party, you meet the candidate and you can ask them questions about their policies. Yeah.
So many use cases that I love actually unpacking all of the different use cases. But I guess like I feel like I could get more knowledge out of you, because you've been doing like community building for a while now. If before we wrap up, if we can just talk about like what you're seeing across the landscape, or just other things that you've got your hands on, because I feel like even outside of dinner, like you're just always organizing things, like it's like a personal passion of yours.
Is an act. Yeah, I didn't realize this about myself until later in life, but yeah, I love hosting parties. I love getting people together in person. So I have a few communities. So I help lead a dance community for Latin dance in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Uh, the original founder, Nina, I just like help her with stuff, but my husband Ryan and I teach a free beginner salsa class every Monday at this like rec center.
Mhm.
And it's free every week. It's just very basic beginner, no man left behind. Like we basically tailor the class to like the worst dancer in the room.
I love that. If I remember right, when we were in Portugal, you and Ryan taught all of us like beginner
I'm
level
sure we
bachata.
did. I'm sure we did. Sounds like on brand. Yeah, so that's a really fun way to meet new people. Dancing is like so good for your brain and your body. It's social, it's creative, cures depression scientifically better than SSRIs. So I'm like a huge fan of dancing. And then we host a monthly free social, like at a local restaurant. And then there's like more intermediate classes you can pay for and like more serious dancing if people want to like move up the chain. But and we end up posting a lot of socials kind of outside of, like if the rec center's closed, then we'll host it at the class at our place and then we'll have a potluck after. Or
Okay,
there's
yeah.
like some summer like boat cruise type things, and like every summer we take it over, and it's like a Latin boat booze cruise, and they just like blast salsa music and dance on this yacht. Yeah, so that's like one of our cult communities, Curated. And then I have a startup community that's very small, but I host in my clubhouse of my apartment building. I host like we call them open build. It's just like co-working day every Friday, 2 p.m. till late. People come and there's like, oh, I'm doing this open claw thing, or like, shit, can I practice my pitch on you? I got like a surprise VC meeting tomorrow, or like, hey, like try to break this thing I built. And then there's another, like some of my friends, Jack and TJ, they host a Seacoast Builders like meetup. It's more like a more experienced person that comes gives a talk, but it's like invite only. And sometimes they host other places, but I'm like, hey, backup can always be at Auntie Rae and Uncle Ryan's house. Like we just post up in the lobby of the building. Like we had a nuclear panel with like 6 like heavy hitting like nuclear people, and like residents are just
literally like the industry, like the nuclear industry.
Yes,
okay.
like serious like nuclear energy people. And it's
For
just
some
like
reason, I was like, is it slang for something?
oh
Like,
no, like
it's literally
nuclear energy panel. And like
these people are like so big deal that they're nuclear, and that's why I had to clarify.
That'd be cool. But yeah, they are a big deal, doing some interesting stuff. New Hampshire, is like a nuclear energy surplus state. 6% of our energy comes from nuclear. It's a controversial topic. So yeah, I host some of startup builder stuff, run a weekly newsletter, just like what's going on in like our tiny Seacoast area for startup people. And then the third community cult I'm starting a real estate development project called Freedom Village. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's basically like a WeWork in the woods. I feel like there's a lot of startup people like myself who have been like hanging on to the large city because they want to be around the energy and the dynamic people, but they actually don't want to live in the city at all. But the alternative feels like going to live alone in the woods. And I'm like, well, what if we all live together alone in the woods?
Make a commune in the woods. Yeah.
But like some people are like, is this a cult? And I was like, maybe.
Could be. Do you want it to be?
Culty in the sense that like it isn't going to be an open market where just anyone can buy a house. There is going to be some kind of filtering mechanism, which, if you're not allowed in, might seem culty. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's such a cool concept. And I had commented because I see stuff like this a lot in Europe, like whether it's its own individual village, like Freedom Village, or just I know there's co-working spaces in the US, but it's not in every city. It doesn't seem as like spread out and like well or distributed as well as it like in Europe. But I even have a couple friends that are doing like what we call like pop-up co-living, where they'll just like rent out a big space and like you co-work for the week and it becomes like a mastermind. And I'm like, this is the kind of things that I want to be building here in the US, because like it just doesn't happen. And like, I mean, I think everyone is talking this year about community and specifically in-person stuff. And just, I think having you share all these different ways that you've tapped into your communities, people are really interested in knowing about how they can feel like they're building their own community. And yeah, or being a very good villager, you know?
Yes, being a good villager. Yeah, I mean, my suggestion is just to host and host consistently. It can take time to like build up that like cadence and that muscle for people. But I find that like predictability is much better for people. Like, okay, you know, Fridays we're going to be co-working and you don't have to RSVP, but it's there, it's open, you drop in, like building that consistency. Same with our dance class. Like there's been weeks where we haven't wanted to do it. So you have to like scope things to make it sustainable. So for our dance class, we have another couple, Anthony and Lily, and we trade off every other week. And then like if someone's slammed, the other people are like, yep, no problem. And we just run the class. Like we never changed the format of the class. Like we've just like, we did it early on, we were iterating, but we just like kind of dialed it in. And so now there's technically any one of us could lead the class all by ourselves. So there's 4 people. Ideally there's a couple teaching, but like if even then, if just like one person can only make it, then it's like, it's still doable. And then like for my newsletter, it's like the format is very straightforward and it's like predictable. And I'm not trying to like boil the ocean every week. It's just like getting that cadence out, being consistent. And then like making it easy for you. Like people want to help and they'll say, how can I help? And then you're like, oh no, I got it. And then you like resent them later because no one helped. And give people jobs, like tell them, yes, please go take out the recycling. It's down the hall. And then next time they'll know where the recycling is and they won't ask. They'll just take it.
Yeah.
So yeah, people want to help.
And it's a sustainable community because you've got a village of helpers and they have that sense of like shared ownership and co-creation.
Yeah. And like this week, we're actually going to Austin for a conference and the Seacoast builder guys need a place to host. So they like came by early and borrowed my key fob. I mean, don't tell my apartment complex that I'm not going to be there, but like I trust them. It's going to be great, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think being consistent, asking for help, keeping the scope like very repetitive so that's easy, makes it easier to build actual community.
I think that's some solid advice. And I feel like we really covered all the different bases, like so many different types of community, and what you're doing is so interesting. I guess like as we wrap up, like what's next on the horizon? How can people connect with you? All that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, so maybe we should just post my link tree because it has like millions of links, all the like harebrained shit I'm doing. Yeah, I mean, follow me on Twitter. I'm mostly on Twitter. I write a couple newsletters. I've got this IRL URL newsletter, which is kind of like my main Substack. It's got 24,000 subscribers. And I just talk about like building the offline future. I think, I'm super embracing AI. I actually like built an app this morning on Lovable because I was like, what the fuck is this thing? I gotta figure it out. So I'm like using AI for tons of stuff. I got an OpenClaw, like just grinding out, helping me with my newsletters and stuff. But I just want to use the extra technology to like free up my time to spend.
So you can spend more time in person.
Yeah. Like, I have some friends who are kind of like in the anti-AI camp and I'm totally embracing AI and then just making sure I use like my extra free time wisely. But yeah, follow me on the IRL URL newsletter or on Twitter.
I love that name, by the way. I saw it come through and I was like, wish I would have thought of that first.
Okay, I don't know. So it came about very organically. So we had hats made for like River, OG River, and it just said IRL greater than, the little alligator URL. And it said River on the back. And it's like a cream colored dad hat. Yeah. And like everyone comments, where'd you buy that hat? The TSI, every time I go through the airport, the TSA security is like, great hat. And I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. No, I seriously, I saw it and I literally was like mad at myself. Like, come on, you couldn't.
I stole it from someone else.
It's so smart, but it's so.
Steal it. Yeah. I stole it from someone else. So now I have all these River hats that say IRL URL. It says River on the back. So I've been painstakingly seam ripping the River part off because it's like confusing people. And now we pivoted.
Yeah.
So that's what I do at night when I'm just like watching TV. I'm just like seam ripping the River off because I'm so poor. I can't buy more swag yet. So I'm just seam ripping the little, But anyway.
Just order the dinner like the patches and then just iron them onto the hats and now they're branded as dinner.
I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah, but that's where I got the idea of the newsletter. I was like trying to think of some good name and I was like, oh, everyone just loves this hat. I'm just gonna go with the name of the hat.
Yeah, I think I got really lucky with the name of my podcast. Like people like I've just said yes because like I fucking love the name. Like I'll come on your podcast and
Hot
like
girls cults, hell yeah, lock in.
And like And then once I got like a couple good guests, then it was like a domino effect. People were like, yep, that's easy peasy. And I'm like, I wish I would have started this a long time ago.
I will say, like, you seem really self-actualized. Like, you're built, like, you're in flow. Do you feel that way?
I do feel in flow. I think that it's like that's like my post-cancer gift is, I think like that people say, like, what would you do if money didn't matter? And like, I was in this position where I couldn't work, and I'm like, what do you build when money doesn't matter? And I'm like, I want to, I built this podcast with starting with three goals, just like get my voice out there to like as a networking tool to sit down and talk with people. And at some point I'm going to find my business partner through this. Like I'm networking on this call or on these calls. So, and yeah, I'm excited what's going to come out of it next.
But how do you think you made it happen? Was it you started with maybe less fear and you just like no fucks to give and you're just like, I'm putting it out there. I don't care if people like it. Like what specifically?
It was like, well, one big thing was I didn't want to walk out of cancer treatment feeling like I hadn't accomplished anything, like other than just not dying. I know that sounds like dark, but I was like, I just feel like I didn't.
That's not enough.
Having cancer is not my passion project. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I needed something to kind of keep me focused and like I was accomplishing something. And then there's like this weird shift that happens where when you experience every fear that you've ever had, that just like you stop sweating the small stuff, like, I mean, a little bit of my history the past couple of years, like my dad passed away, like I've had some health issues, I had cancer, went through a massive breakup, and I'm just like, everything that I was like holding so tightly onto has just fallen away. And then like, if I can't stop it from happening, then I might as well just like go for other things that scare me, So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful to see. I love seeing you just grind it out and like do the things that are lighting you up instead of like the things you should be doing. Because finding the thing only you can do is like very powerful.
It feels good. It does feel like I'm in flow. So thank you for acknowledging that.
Oh, I can see the flow glow from here. Even on LinkedIn, I can see the flow glow. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me today. And I can't wait to catch up with you in IRL.
Yes. I would love that. Thank you so much. Okay.
If this conversation lit something up in you, that's your sign. Share the episode, start the conversation, build the thing. And if you're creating community, hosting gatherings, or building spaces people actually care about, I want to meet you. I'm Megan Lycan, and this is Hot Girls Build Cults.